proponent of good health, wellness, juice. Dave, how long have you been in business for?
2.5 years.
And you're a vegan?
Yes, I wasn't always a vegan. 11 years ago, I didn't choose to be a vegan. It's just a path that was shown to me that was the best option.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Green Light. That's all over the place. Now,
yeah.
It's on the South Shore everywhere.
Yes, the Green Light is a nutritional wellness center that provides the opportunity for people who choose to better their health through nutrition. We offer the best in human nutrition. We work on a cellular level with purifying the blood and helping people with intestinal disorders and diseases, so-called diseases, that we're having lots of fun, and thousands and thousands of people are choosing to participate in what we're offering.
And that's why I like to couple you guys together. I mean, I've known Dr. John for a while now, and he's been a good friend. And I've known you for probably a year and a half now. And you're like kind of a preventative kind of guy, if you think about it. Your word that you preach is like you haven't really not been sick for ages.
I have not been sick, not even a headache, in the last 10 years since I chose to change the way that I nourish myself. I have lived in physical bliss every second. I live in a pain-free body after roofing for 27 years, and it's 100% related to what I'm choosing to put into my body.
So, and that's amazing, because you really don't exercise that much, right?
No, but again, I was a roofing contractor for 27 years, so there's lots of exercise there.
Yeah, well, you get enough miles on your body, but as far as that goes, it's really amazing because you don't see that very often. And Dr. John, I mean, do you see many people that can say, I haven't had a headache in 10 years? I never hear that.
Only people that take externally good care of themselves. But it happens. It does.
That's when they don't, they end up in your office sometimes,
well,
don't they?
Yes. I mean, in our practice, we, of course, there's both ends of the spectrum. But yeah, I mean, what Dave says is absolutely positively true. When you pay such careful attention to your lifestyle, you avoid so many health issues. That is our major health problem. Lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And
listen,
no question.
And it's not rocket science. It's out there. It's scripted for us. We all know it. It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But none of us follow it. Or, no, I shouldn't say none of us. I'd say like 20% follow it, 80% don't. It's a crazy.
Well, I mean, no, then you're right. I mean, we had this actually discussion with a group of patients in our practice today, because if you take a look at just the raw numbers of where society is going with degenerative diseases and so on, the incidence or the new cases of diseases which are devastating, like diabetes, are going through the roof and projected to increase, not decrease.
Which is amazing because we have all the information.
That's right. Way more information now than ever before in human history.
And Dave, I mean, what do you think about the diabetes epidemic? I mean, I'm sure you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, type 2 diabetes, they call it a disease. It's really not a disease at all. It's an eating disorder, and I've seen it. I've never seen it not reverse itself when people choose to consume plant-based nutrition.
Okay, so, but it's certainly, I mean, I would think your insulin levels, especially with your vegan proposal, with what you eat and what you sell at the Green Light, certainly can probably help get a diabetes diet far under control.
Yes, we certainly could regulate. People could certainly choose to participate in what we're offering and regulate their blood sugars. However, I would never tell anybody what they should do. But there is no vegans walking around on the planet, healthy vegans that eat a plant-based diet, that have diabetes. It doesn't exist. There is no vegans that have heart disease, colon cancer, prostate cancer, IBS, Crohn's, colitis, diverticulitis, acid reflux, diarrhea, constipation. They're not building hospitals for vegans. They're not building doctors' places for vegans. It just doesn't. Like I said, I haven't had a headache in 10 years. It's not because I have good genes. It's not because I got lucky. It's because I was fortunate enough to embrace the lifestyle of a human being and consume foods that nourish my body.
So you didn't have any irreversible damage when you came into this lifestyle. No. Like you were basically, I mean, you didn't feel as good as you do now, obviously.
I've never felt as good as I do today.
Okay.
Never. When I was 20 years old, I didn't feel like this, no.
Did you have sicknesses back then?
No, but I didn't know what physical bliss felt like, and I
Okay.
certainly could never articulate what it feels like to live where I live. I try to explain it to people, but it's an experience and a feeling that if people who choose to have that experience could certainly have it. But I wouldn't do it justice trying to articulate. To live in physical bliss, it's a gift, I believe. And it's something that I'm choosing to keep going with.
Here's something I never asked you on the air, but how does it affect sleep? I mean, the diet you feel? I mean, because it basically, a vegan diet, you're not going to have those spikes in blood sugar. You're not going to have that indigestion that your intestines feel when you eat that big steak or that prime rib. So it's easy digestible. It's good with the blood sugar. Does that promote a good sleep?
Yes, people ask me all the time, do you ever sleep, David? Because people who know me, I have a lot of energy because I have a lot of oxygen in my bloodstream. And people look at me and they're like, do you ever sit down? Do you ever stop? Do you ever sleep? And I tell them, and they're all surprised. I sleep like a baby. I go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and I am totally at peace because physically I am at peace. So my body is at ease. I'm not in disease. So my body knows it's time to rest. I actually love sleeping. People find that hard to believe, but
What is it, about a 7 hour?
7-8 hours. 7-8 hours, and I wake up hitting the floor ready to rock and roll.
Really, from the onset?
Day. Yes, I am ready and excited and ambitious and inspired to get out of bed every day because of the amazing life that I'm choosing to live.
Now, this country's addicted to caffeine and coffee in the morning. It gets everybody going. I don't know if you guys have it, but what is that like in the vegan field?
11 years ago, I drank a lot of coffee, but I've chosen to drink wheatgrass instead, and I have more energy than coffee ever gave me. Plus, if you look at coffee closely, even black coffee, which is not going to, it's better than it's what people add to the coffee that's really disastrous. It's not so much just the actual black coffee.
Right.
But coffee with caffeine is the most abused drug in America, and that's why people get up in the morning, they're shaking until everyone has to run and get. That's why the drive-thrus are backing up 139 and everything else trying to get the coffee because people are addicted to that. And it's a false energy and it's very acidic. And I don't miss coffee at all, and I used to love it. I still like the smell of it and all that, but it's so acidic. I have no desire to, and I used to drink a lot of it. But 11 years, I haven't had a cup of coffee in 11 years.
Okay, I'm going to jump over to Dr. John Hayes here. We're at 475 School Street, is that
Yes.
right?
Yep.
It's embedded in my
Suite 7.
mind.
That's right.
Suite
You've been there.
7. I don't have the suite down quite yet, but I do have the 475 School Street in Marshfield. Now, we were talking off the air right before the show started about specifically sleep. And it's an epidemic in America where people have insomnia left and right. I can't believe the numbers. It happens in droves. I don't know what the genesis of it is. Some of it might be food related. Some might be mentally related. And I certainly know there's a million drugs out there that that are prescribed for the Ambiens. And sometimes it seems like people, when they get on these drugs, they get used to them, and it's almost like they work for a month or two, then they're done with it. Any thoughts on any of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to comment on a couple of things that Dave said because I, want the leaders to the listeners and the leaders like yourself to be really clear. I mean, look, it's great to have a vegan diet and a plant-based diet. We advocate it, but as a physician, I must say, bad things do happen to good people. So even though somebody may have type 2 diabetes, if their pancreas is in an end stage, they're not going to cure their diabetes by going to a plant-based diet. They still have to have their blood sugars monitored. They've got to monitor their A1C. Plant-based diet, no question, is going to help them substantially, but they still have got to have such a watchful eye over all their blood levels. The other thing that is so important to understand is that if a patient's going to make a transition into that diet, the place where people tend to go overboard on a plant-based diet is carbohydrates.
Okay.
So
like what kind of carbohydrates?
Well, I mean, it's easy to
bread?
get. I mean, I don't think bread belongs in the vegan diet. That's another whole show.
I don't think so either.
But potatoes, starchy vegetables,
Turns
carrots,
into sugar.
corn, that type of thing. Yeah, because
It turn into sugar. That's bad.
and the fruits. I mean, I think
Fruits
juicing
turn
is
into-
great. I think juicing with vegetables in particular is great. But I've seen people get themselves in a lot of trouble when they do a lot of, sugary fruits like pineapple in particular.
No
The
question.
carbs are out of control, so that can lead people down a dangerous path. So, I really appreciate what Dave's doing. But again, I just want to caution people to, understand that if you've got an illness and you are in a physician's care, I mean, step back a little bit and just
Weigh all the options.
Well, yeah, weigh all the options. It'd be good, but I think he's absolutely right on the money that one of the major cause of disease and illness that we have is the lack of a plant-based diet. Every life extension program out there, and even clinical research that takes a look at patients with things like diabetes and heart disease in particular. When these patients are switched to a plant-based diet, virtually everybody has some significant improvement. But I don't want to mislead and say that everybody's going to get cured, because it's not true.
Sure,
But
sure.
the reality, though, is that many times patients are going to have a dramatic improvement in the quality of the life and the extension of the life. So that, I think, is the most important thing.
The interesting thing, and Dave and I have talked about this ad nauseum, people don't understand this too, is the reason I go to that green light in Duxbury, in Pembroke, and all the places it is, in Cohasset, Hingham, Marshfield, is they understand the value of the raw plants. Like, I get that green light juice. I've never felt like I got any nutritional value from my mom's cooked carrots, the cooked broccoli, almost mushy to the point. I think all the life force has been cooked out of it. It's limp by the time I eat it. She's like, eat your vegetables. No, Mom, there's nothing left in there. Dave?
Well, raw foods are where it's at as far as enzymatic nutrition. The biggest discovery in nutritional science was the enzyme and what it does to the body, how it is a healing of the body. So when you have raw foods in its natural state, your human cell is looking for four things. It's looking for hormones, oxygen, phytonutrients, and enzymes. When you choose to provide the human cell with those four building blocks to rebuild that human cell, those are what they're looking for. They're only found in raw foods. When you cook a food, you cook most of the oxygen out of it, you cook all the enzymes, you kill the enzymes, the hormones, and the phytonutrients. Everything is depleted, which is why it becomes, like Brian said, it was like mush.
It's mush, and it's no nutritional value. The life force is just kicked out of the...
Destroyed.
It's so, I mean, I don't know any nutritional value whatsoever from... at Thanksgiving, I'm looking at the squash. Yeah, maybe there's a little. It's better than eating like the pie.
Yeah, cooked squash will never make you sick, right?
It won't make you sick.
Tons of butter in it.
But I'm going to be a devil's advocate like Dave. Dave won't put anything in his body unless it's giving him something. And am I right?
Absolutely correct.
So it's almost like a deal he's making with himself. He's like, if I'm not getting something out of what it's going down my throat, then I'm not going to eat it. Mm-hmm. Now, people around, this day of age, I don't know what they're thinking, because they want taste.
Well, they're not thinking that. They wouldn't be sick. No, seriously,
it's called
he's
unconscious
right.
eating. I was the biggest proponent of unconscious eating.
Yeah.
I spent 40 years of my life eating unconsciously, never thinking what passed my lips, the 32 feet from inlet to outlet. I had no idea what took place. Now I know every step of the way. When it passes your lips till the time it leaves your body, exactly what substances, we call it food, but food is something that nourishes the body. And once I made that connection, that's when I started questioning what I was eating. Is this really food? And then I realized I was eating very little food.
We've actually got a couple of emails. I've got a text. Somebody wants to put the phone line. It's 781-837-4900. That's 781-837-4900. Call lines are open. We actually have a caller on the line. Linda, are you there?
Hi.
Hey, Linda, how are you?
Very good. I love what I'm hearing from both gentlemen. I wanted to share with the audience and also your guests, I've lost 80 pounds. It's taken me 3 years.
Wow. Big round of applause
Congratulations
on that one.
That's awesome.
We love it. We love hearing that. What was your secret?
Well, my secret was I got hypnotized. And I definitely agree that standard American diet is killing Americans, and I've changed my diet quite a bit. I'm not vegan, but I've embraced changes in my diet that, I strive for 6, 7, 8 servings of vegetables, and a serving is a half a cup. And I try to eat very lean as far as, the proteins, and make sure when I am eating protein, I eat about the size of my palm. So, I look at the way I eat now, and I'm embracing more holistic ways. I bought a juicer, so I juice a couple of days a week and supplement that way. And also I've added exercise and more healthier exercise by being outside in nature. So this is all wonderful to hear. Thank you for having these gentlemen on. And I want to tell the audience, please don't be afraid of vegetables. Eat your vegetables. They do extend your life, and they're part of a very healthy, diet program. Maybe not vegan is for everybody, but, eat your vegetables. What your grandmother told you is right.
Linda, it's funny you alluded to the hypnosis, which I'm a big proponent of. I think getting the mind right sometimes before you make that step is an important measure. I mean, just trying to get that path and to not get distracted by everything that's out there. And I know plenty of people who have used that process before. So I think that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
My problem was I just got myself into a bad habit, and I allowed my work stress and life stress to confuse me. And I realized that the clarity and the focus I had on eating healthier and wasn't there. So I used hypnosis to really improve my focus. But once it did, I started thirsting for, professionals and also sources for good food, health food stores, juicing bars, visiting doctors. I went to a naturopathic doctor. I haven't had chiropractic yet, but I have had acupuncture and massage therapy, and all these modalities are fabulous. But I love wheatgrass.
Now,
So
let me ask you this:
wheatgrass.
have you made it to the green light yet?
No, I want to.
Well, tell
I
you
want
what.
to find out where it is.
Tell you what, we'll send you a $10 gift card in the mail.
Absolutely. I would love an opportunity to have a shot of wheatgrass with you, Linda.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to meet you. In fact, when I come, I'll invite some of my friends, and it's so difficult to make wheatgrass on your own. It's not an easy process. So going someplace to have your shot of wheatgrass. And I think you need to have it in the morning. Is that right?
Yes, on an empty stomach. And at the Green Light, we grow all of our own wheatgrass. It's all grown in organic soils. It's the most amazing wheatgrass I've ever tasted.
Pretty good tasting stuff.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we make every bit of it that's served at the Green Light, and we're going through over 200 pounds a week of it. So 1,400, 1,600 shots a week people are consuming on the South Shore.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen.
Yeah, let me
Brian.
keep you. Linda, let me.
I appreciate you extending that gift certificate. I will definitely take advantage of it. And
Yes. Can you stay on the line, and Ryan will get your information.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. So that's Linda. I didn't know where that came from, but it's probably somewhere on the South Shore.
I'm sure.
And, we'll get another conversion to the Green Light, which is
It's worth the trip.
absolutely worth the trip. Before we go to commercial break, just a couple of minutes. So we were getting back to that insomnia thing, which we
It's
never,
huge, yeah.
and all the drugs that are administered and whatnot. And I know you do a lot of chiropractic stuff.
Yeah.
What is your chiropractic practice? I know it's not just back injuries, neck injuries.
No. Look, I mean, the bottom line is I've been in chiropractic for a long time, spent a lot of time with it, not to the exclusion of other things, but, chiropractic is very powerful, especially when combined with, an expanded view of health and an expanded view of disease, for that matter. But we started to say before we went on air that insomnia is oftentimes one of the first underlying signs that there is mechanical human stress.
Sure.
And a lot of people don't realize it. And so one of the most amazing things, I learned this 40 years ago from people that have been in practice for a long time, that, their observations were that one of the first things that chiropractic patients would report is that when they started care, that insomnia disappeared. And so there have been some studies that have been done since that show that one of the most common signs of what's called a subclinical mechanical issue, and indeed can be other issues too, because if you're not sleeping properly, it could be a sign of heart disease, for example. CH, you know the drill.
Yeah, I do.
So
Yeah, there's a million
exactly.
things
There's many
going on.
causes, so they have
Yeah.
to be looked at and not blown off. So we don't want to mislead anybody. But the fact of the matter is that it's such a common health issue, and like Dave said, it's a lifestyle issue. Most of the time, it's a lifestyle issue.
And certainly that paves the road to bigger and better things. If you can get the foundation of sleep, of course, that can ruin anybody's life.
It will ruin your life faster than anything. Is sleep
really
deprivation.
will. And thank God, thank God Dave sleeps like a baby. I'm sure you do too. I'm sure
do.
you know what you're
I
doing.
absolutely do.
But I notice it more frequently in females, and I don't know if you do or not. In your office, I mean, do people ever come to you?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. That may be a jaded perception because females generally seek out health care way before males do.
Oh, Maybe that's
so
why.
it's, it's huge. It's a fact of life. I mean, women usually take far better care of themselves than men do.
So women are smarter.
Yes,
They are.
in every respect, yes. No argument from me.
That makes sense. Listen, I have emails from Joan and Bill. We'll get to those after the break. We're going to go to commercial break, 95.9, WATD, Friends with Benefits.
Hi, everybody. It's Joe Walsh. You're listening to my buddy Brian Stratton on Friends with Benefits, WATD.